Here comes the nasty gram.
Send a priest to save my soul, forget it.
Welcome back to the Nastygram RPG podcast. This is Dark Legacy, Episode 2, Ancient Paths.
Feeling it too hard is the poison to the heart of a cynic.
Chapter 7 of Das Amerikanische Abenteuer, First Draft. I had packed up the workshop, ready to travel back to Switzerland, when I received an invitation from my good friend General James Marlowe to visit him at his family estate in Black Valley. I thought it would be a good opportunity to show him my appreciation for his help during the war, and planned on giving him one of my latest Model 1870 Faschnachter rifles. Perhaps even a good old-fashioned American deer hunt one last time to stretch the legs and take in what I grew to love about this country. Apparently, I wasn't the only person invited, as I soon found myself in the company of my old friends Silas Keane and Kingsley Burke. Also on the train was Benton Beauclair, a voodoo priest I had briefly met in the field, and Les Kershaw, a mentee of James from before the war. Our reunion was cut short when the train to Black Valley was stopped abruptly by a fur trader named Bill, who informed us that the bridge ahead was out. We decided to risk the crossing on foot, as the rails and the rail ties were left intact. Before we could make it across, we were assailed from an elevated position across the chasm. I engaged with my rifle while Silas and Les climbed the rocks to try to take out the snipers. We were able to take one out, however, the second gunman befell a different fate. Before he was able to reach his horse, his body was... Damn, I still cannot find the right way to describe this.
Hey, this is Jake, your storyteller, and we're playing World of Darkness.
Hey everyone, this is Dan, and I am playing Silas Keane, the photographer.
Hey everyone, it's John, and I'm playing Noah Faschnacht, the gunsmith.
Hey everybody, it's Ryan. I'm playing Les Kershaw, who shoots first and asks questions. Well, probably never.
This is Josh. I'm playing Kingsley Burke, the politician who is currently losing his mind and doesn't speak with an English accent.
Yeah, well, going back to that Anglophile thing.
And now, Matt, I'm playing Benton Beauclair, the voodoo priest cook.
I wanted Ryan to say unemployed Pony Express rider.
Nice. Quick bookkeeping note. Ryan, did you get a vice?
A vice. I think my vice is now shoots first and asks questions later.
All right,
yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
First shoots. All right. And no one's out of willpower yet?
Close.
I'm edging.
Okay, cool.
Kingsley,
Kingsley
is at
All right.
one.
Nice. Doing my job.
Isn't Noah at one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
darling.
that's tasty.
I know.
Okay. December 19th, 1870, 4 a.m. in the Appalachian Mountains of West Maryland. The five of you are standing over the eviscerated remains of a man who just moments ago was trying to shoot you while you crossed train tracks. And no one knows what just happened to him.
What happened?
This is awful. Which one of you did this to this man?
Silas is sitting there with the next to the lantern, staying perfectly still. Like it. To those of you who have seen shock in soldiers before, it looks like he's having a moment of that.
Could it not be cougar? Some animal? No? Tracks? Can I look around to see if there's any tracks? Bloody fucking tracks of anything?
Sure. I won't even make you guys roll for this. I will allow you to use that previous investigation roll that you all did so well on. You don't find any tracks at all. You find the tracks of these two men.
The horses are still alive, right?
Correct.
I'm walking over with them right now. Won't be enough for all of us to ride, but I got a couple horses over here that can help us get there. What's going on down there?
Something disemboweled this man.
I'm asking again here. Who did this to this man?
Can I inspect the corpse?
Sure.
Silas
I'm not
says,
weirded out by bodies. So Benton was in war. He's seen many a mangled, eviscerated man. I guess he's looking to see if it's clean cuts or if it looks like jagged or ripped as opposed to something sliced.
Okay. Matt, why don't you roll resolve plus your choice of either investigation or medicine?
Silas says kind of quietly, no one was near him, Mr. Burke.
He just fell, didn't he?
I heard his screams. I don't know what happened to him.
So, Josh, part of your previous really good investigation roll.
That's 3.
All right. 1 sec, Matt. So, part of the reason you lost so much willpower is because your investigation roll was so high. You look around at your companions, and as much as you want to believe one of them did this, you don't see a single drop of blood on any of them. And there's no way someone did this without getting any blood on themselves. Matt, 3 successes, you said?
Correct.
Okay. This I'm gonna send you a nastygram. I'll let you describe this however you want.
Kingsley,
And Silas, oh, go ahead. Sorry, Josh.
his hand kind of, as you say that, Silas, his hand kind of drops to your shoulder for a second and almost like self-reassuringly, like pats your shoulder, and then he just turns and starts walking stiffly back from whence they came down the hill back to the train tracks where his briefcase, his leather satchel is strewn.
And Noah will head up the hill and get to the first body, pull the rifle off and put it around his shoulder, and then I'm going to knock him over and search the body of the one that was shot.
Okay.
Cannot be a puma, Benton. Wouldn't it not eat the man?
Weren't enough time either.
Mid to late 30s, working class, like rough hands, white guy, nothing like, no wallet or anything. Obviously,
Yeah.
He wouldn't have anything like that, but nothing that would give any indication as to who he was.
Okay.
This is the one who had the pistol.
Yep.
So you see that pistol lying on some rocks close by, and also one of the 2 rifles.
I grab both and head back down.
I'm still kneeling next to the man, Jake, and I'm just kind of I hold the lantern up over him, and I watch Benton as he kind of studies the body. And as he's doing that, I'll start, I kind of snap out of it at that point from just observing to being kind of a participant. And I'll start reaching inside of his pockets and looking for anything that may indicate who he was or what he was doing there.
Okay. Pretty gruesome.
This was not done by a cougar or anything on land. It looks like when a osprey comes down, grabs a fish, rips its guts and drops it.
But what purpose, Benton? An animal kills to eat.
Maybe it come back.
You see Silas kind of nervously look up to the sky. Jake, I rummage around in his pockets. Anything to be found?
Nothing.
I'm not from here. I don't know what kind of birds, but this big.
I've never heard of a creature like that. Nothing.
Well, in the bayou, there's many things that you don't see.
Silas turns and looks you pretty squarely in the eye when you say that. Monsters.
Yeah.
Silas kind of, you see him kind of nod shortly to himself and stands up and begins walking down the hillside.
Noah comes back to the body there with everyone around it. Says, Buck, can you shoot a pistol?
Kingsley went back down to the tracks
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Sorry.
to get his stuff, and he's taking a moment down there.
These rifles, are you there or did you move down?
I kind of stood up from the body with the lantern and looked to start picking my way back down.
Yeah, I grabbed...
You couldn't come into the lantern light?
And I grabbed the other rifle that was next to this guy. I have the two rifles that they had. One of them has a scope on it, like a rudimentary scope. He says, these rifles, they were used by Confederate sniper teams. They are very valuable, pretty rare. They, whoever these were trained, probably veteran, if I had to guess.
Confederate.
Perhaps.
Yes. I mean, if Marlowe has enemies.
Yeah.
I think we need to get to cover.
Yeah.
If he was picked off on the top of the cliff, we should not stay in the open. Group up.
Wise words, Benton. Let's go back down. I kind of step out in front of you guys to kind of lead you back down with the lantern light.
Make our way down these rocks and back onto the train tracks where Les is waiting with the two horses. Les, you didn't really look through the horses or anything, but as the rest of you approach, I know you had already searched the bodies. You see that there are things on the horses. There's saddlebags and belongings. One of the first things that you notice is a axe.
I look at you, Noah, and I nod to the axe.
I guess these are our men, yes?
It looks like they did the damage to the bridge.
Noah packs the two rifles onto these horses.
How would they know we were coming? Only Marlowe knew? Yeah.
Perhaps the danger that he is in has already occurred. Perhaps he is captured.
This path, it leads to him alive, safe. We keep going. Quick.
Yeah.
Vite.
Where is Mr. Burke?
Kingsley takes a few steps. You hear him coming up the cane, clicking again on the railroad ties. He finished off his second dose of laudanum.
How many you got?
A bottle.
Okay.
I got my
Tincture bottle?
long weekend bottle.
Nice.
And he comes walking. He's taking kind of like deep breaths, like deliberately deep, and he says, yes, I'm right here. I found my effects, and I'm not used to being at a loss for words, but I do not understand exactly what occurred. These men set out to ambush and murder whoever's on this train. It's
Your conclusion was correct, Mr. Burke.
the conclusion is I do not see how it correlates with any facts. What kind of bandits set out to kill and destroy? I mean, this is
Marlowe has enemies from the war.
these are wartime tactics, and
These men are carrying Confederate weapons.
I thought there had been quite enough of the. Wasn't there a term for?
Yeah, there
Carpetbaggers?
was. No, for people, for like
The-
carrying on the war, right?
Trumpers? No,
There was, and I remember reading it briefly, but I can't remember it.
It's been quite some time for those who have you have to adjust to the realities of their defeat. I mean, this is a long time since the cemeteries were laid to rest in Lee's backyard. I mean, to come and start a war in the foothills of Maryland. I mean, this is nonsense. And just what did occur?
Mr. Burke, perhaps it is not war that someone is after. It's revenge.
But
it's a personal thing.
They would have to know that Marlowe had sent for others of how would they know this?
Perhaps Marlowe sent a telegram as well. Perhaps someone was tipped off. Perhaps someone's watching Marlowe. Maybe
Mr. King, can you bring that lantern closer? And Mr. Kershaw, may I see your letter?
Well, of course.
I hold up the lantern, like kind of eye level, so that you can look at the letter.
And if it's not too much of an imposition for the rest of you?
I nod and I pull out a folded piece of paper from my breast pocket.
Jake, I'm going to look at Kingsley's looking over the letters. He's basically, I think he's kind of using his, this side of his brain as sort of coping mechanism right now, which kind of seems silly to like fucking start investigating letters by lantern light. Sure. He's trying to get back to something that he has any sort of like control or understanding of.
Yeah.
So he's going to look at these letters again and just try to make sense of it. A, are they identical? B, looking again at it, I think Kingsley would have very good reason to know Marlowe's handwriting intimately.
Right.
So many love letters.
Do I think the way he writes throbbing? Does he put hearts over the eye?
Always.
Yeah. So I guess basically that is there anything I can gather from looking at these letters together?
Sure. So they're all slightly different. They're all kind of personalized. I did not write a letter to each of you individually because I'm
God,
one
so
character point.
lazy.
storyteller.
Maybe.
Chorus of boos.
This man.
So you I mean, you don't have to roll for this. You look them over. They all look like they were made by the same person, and they're consistent with his handwriting, his signature. You're pretty sure he did do this. The rest of you kind of entertain him while he looks over all these letters. I mean, probably looks over them for 10, 15 minutes.
When he starts like looking at one or two of them, I say, Mr. Burke, I don't know if it is the prudent hour to do this. Our friend here, Benton, he thinks that whatever happened up there, Silas doesn't say, he doesn't say the guy, but he kind of glances up the hillside. It came from above.
It is right. It seemed like a large bird.
Excuse me? A bird.
Yeah, wings, claws.
What kind of bird could do this?
I look at, I turn back to you again with that kind of same stare that I gave you up on top of the hill.
I've seen picture books from the Indian territories and some of these lizards they've uncovered, winged lizards. Unless one of those has found its way to Black Valley, I'm fairly certain, with all due respect, Mr. Beauregard, that Mr. Beauclair. Okay, yeah,
No,
chill out. It's the second session. Beauregard. I'm more comfortable with Beauregard, to be honest. I'm fairly certain that there's no bird that can tell. He kind of like his words catch in his mouth as Kingsley thinks back to that first vision, looking down at that man.
It is dark. Perhaps you are mistaken, yeah?
We could wait till morning. You could look in them in the light. Me,
Nine.
I'd
We
like
must move
to
on.
keep cover. Whatever it was, it took him from the top of the cliff.
Were we just going to leave these men, their bodies?
They would have left ours. We should press on.
Baron Samedi will find a way. Let us go.
What did he say?
Do not worry, Mr. Burke. Can you
I
fire?
only speak white.
Are you capable? I hand you the pistol.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
You guys start heading down the tracks?
Yeah.
All right. Ryan, you bringing those two horses?
Yeah. Anybody else want to ride?
Yeah, I think Forrest Gump over there should ride.
Mr. Yeah.
Josh,
Mr. Burke?
Josh, take a willpower point for making yourself feel necessary with the letters and for playing Craven quite well.
Thank you. Yeah, Kingsley will say, if you don't mind obliging me, gentlemen, I'm not quite the physical specimen some of you are. I could use a spell off my leg.
I give him one of the horses.
Okay.
If it's all right with the rest of y'all, ride ahead a little bit.
Be careful, Les.
I think we should stay together. It is best not to separate with whatever is out there.
Silas is nodding silently, but not saying anything.
John, you notice he's Kingsley, like, he checks the pistol in, like, basic competent manner. Like, you see him check the load.
Yeah.
And, like,
I hand you
holster it.
whatever rounds that I had
Okay.
got off of the body.
How's
One firearms.
how's Kingsley doing on the horse?
One in drive.
So you guys head down the tracks. You talking while you walk, or are you staying pretty quiet?
I think Silas is pretty quiet at the
Yeah.
moment. He's just
Benton would advocate for silence.
Okay. And after about an hour of quietly walking down these tracks, it's starting to get a little lighter out. You can see the outlines of the mountain ranges in the distance. You can start to make out some of the details of these tall pine trees off to the either side of the track. And you get to a point where the track splits. It goes left and right, and in the middle where it splits is a huge boulder. It looks like they just built the track around it instead of trying to blast it. And growing off of that boulder is a large, old, gnarled tree. Its roots kind of grasp the boulder and go around it and into the ground, and its branches are bare because it is winter and reach out in either direction over the track. And you get there just as the sky is turning purple.
We are here,
Where are we?
where we make the decision.
Which way is Black Valley?
Pardon?
Both?
that cannot be.
Matt, Black Valley is to the left. And yeah, you got that second paragraph there now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Black Valley is to the left. John,
Yeah.
you can see that there's like a lever, like a switcher for the rail. And it's set so that a train was coming down, it would go to the left automatically.
Yeah.
You doubt that he was going to stop the train and get off and change it.
Yeah.
So you assume that
That
left
somebody
is the
comes
correct
out
way.
and sets it or whatever.
Yep. Yeah. And it's, the other one's probably for some other
Yeah.
area or not in use anymore or something, but
Yeah.
pretty obvious that left is the more used trail.
Yep.
But anyway,
Yes. The switch, it is left. Well, we go left. Noah starts walking towards Black Valley.
Monsieur Noah,
Yeah? He looks over his shoulder.
I ask again, how much do you care for Marlowe? And
Well, we shed blood together, yeah? He saved my life, I saved his.
can you do anything for his? No matter the cost?
That is of, no matter the cost, yeah?
Gentlemen, excuse me, but what are we discussing here? I mean, this is rather straightforward. We have made a point of the need to make haste to find Mr. Marlowe and what trouble has befallen him. Let us not be held back further.
Is it not left? As the switch indicates.
Yeah.
I glance back at Benton.
It is, but we will have to make a choice here. Papa Legba, he showed me a vision on the train. 2 choices. One, save Marlowe, but there'd be a cost. The other, perhaps only Marlowe is the cost. Now, we make a decision. Yes, I know my choice, but you make yours.
Which direction is which choice? Isn't it simply a matter of going left?
I mean, ain't no decision for me. And Marlowe was like a father to me. Asked me here for help. I'm going to help him regardless. I don't know about the rest of y'all.
Well, I think it's whether we knew ahead of time or not. We did indeed risk our lives just stepping foot over that bridge, all of us, and not even knowing that we would come under such perilous fire. Mr. Beauclair, I mean, we need to get down to business here. Marlowe is in the direction of Black Valley, and if that is where these tracks lead, let us not mince word. And I don't know exactly what these visions are you discussed, but he taps his breast pocket again. He said, "We have a word from the man himself."
Yeah. If we go to Black Valley, yeah, let's go.
No matter the cost, Bondi, he will see.
What does this mean, Benton? What do you mean, no matter the cost?
I'm already riding off and on the left.
How many lives is worth the one? But
I've already played this game with Marlowe before. If it's left, let us go left. Yes?
Yeah.
left it is.
You see Silas stop for a minute just before taking that left split. I wish I had my camera.
Before Benton goes down the road, he's gonna pull out a large glass bottle, and you're gonna see a bunch of sticks and stems and kind of this dark brown liquid, and he's gonna take a swig of it and blow it out onto the rock, and then take a bag off of his neck, and he's going to leave it down at the base of that tree and pick up his gear and follow you to the left.
So right now, we've got the two of you on horseback, probably in front.
Yeah, I'm probably about 100 yards out, waiting for y'all.
Okay. And the three of us.
Yeah.
And then
I'm watching him do this and with curiosity, but
yeah, I think Silas probably Silas was looking up at the tree and thinking of a photograph, and then you kind of stepped into the frame and performed this little ritual, and he watched while you did it.
Now that would be a good photograph, yeah?
You see Silas sigh.
Kingsley looks at this and he spurs the horse along and kind of kicks into like a little bit of a trot and tries to catch up to Les.
Okay. You guys continue on towards Black Valley. Matt, take a point of willpower for superstitious.
Very superstitious.
And you guys, you go down that road maybe 200 yards, and you come upon a campsite. Looks like it's been used recently. You see a small tent, cook fire that is out, has probably been out for a while. Looks like some people have been staying here for a little while.
This, Jake, kind of jogs my memory, and when I catch up to these two, I look through the saddlebags.
Okay. There's food, a couple blankets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Still nothing to denote who they are.
No, nothing super personal.
Not a handwritten note by Marlowe.
No.
Kill them.
The same note.
Wait, what?
So we get to this campground.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. I started looking around the campground.
What do
as
you-
well.
What is it you're looking for?
Information. People will write down just about anything.
About who the previous owners were?
I believe the previous owners are up there in the hills. What I'm looking for is their intent, or who assigned it to them. I start looking around the campfire.
Okay. You start. Go ahead and give me an investigation and intelligence roll.
Can I look around to see if I
Dear
can
Lord.
tell how long they may have been camping? Like if I can use some sort of survival to see if they've used like a lot of firewood in the area, like how far kindling and stuff is cleared out or foraged food and stuff.
Sure. You want to do survival and wits, maybe?
I got
Sure.
four successes. Four successes.
Okay.
I got 4 successes as well.
And Dan, you got a bunch of successes.
Four
on your search.
successes.
What are the rest of you guys doing while they're doing these things?
I'm helping Silas search. I'm not really investigating. Probably just
I'm helping.
Kingsley's
helping.
talking to Les off.
You guys are on the
Unless
horses.
like Les
yeah.
is like actively jumping around.
No, I'm impatiently like kind of riding ahead and then doubling back.
Okay. Matt, they haven't been here for a few days. And you notice they didn't leave any food behind, but they definitely intended to return to this camp.
Okay.
Dan, you find a Bible.
I start thumbing through it.
You thumb through it and you realize that there is a photograph inside of it. It looks like one of the two men, the one who was eviscerated, with his wife and son. Son looks like he's probably 8-10 years old.
I flip it over to the back to see if anything's written on it.
There's nothing written on the back of it. However, in the front of the Bible, there is a name, Dawson.
I Google image search the.
Dawson.
What is that, Silas?
One of the men's personal effects.
A Bible.
I don't know if you read it much. But the man's name was Dawson. A family, too. I hand the picture over to you.
This is too bad. But that's what happens when you get into dirty work, yeah?
I look. My eyes like immediately snap up to yours, and I don't say anything to you, but
They
Dawson.
have been here a couple of days, but they will return. Would.
Was it only the 2 that we found? And did you think there are more?
No. It looks
No.
like just a 2.
we'll have to ask Mr. Marlowe.
May I see that Bible, Mr. Keen?
Yes.
I'm going to check to see where it was printed. Like geographically, what part of the country? I'm assuming I'm assuming it's different than it is these days with mass distribution. It's probably
like,
more.
There's like a stamp essentially in the front of it that says where it was printed. It was printed in New York.
Well, could be might not mean anything. I was expecting to see a Southern printing if theory of revenge and whatnot was true, but of course this could be picked up anywhere.
Jake, I'm kind of holding the photograph again, kind of studying it more. Can I tell anything from the background of the photo where they are?
It looks like a professionally taken photo,
Got it.
like
Okay.
of the family.
Like a prop?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Do they have like the laser background or like
They do. It's one of those they're all frowning because you can't smile for 5 minutes. Josh, I'm going to send you a short nastygram.
Will.
I tuck the photo into my pocket.
For later.
How's a wife look?
Yeah, is that
I start cutting out him and the child.
Oh my God, look at her wrist.
I get a picture of
You can
myself.
see her
and-
whole wrist.
Is that the ankle?
Slut!
You Americans are so prudes. We show a calf in Switzerland.
Like a baby cow. Baby cow.
I look at the sun.
It's just about up. It's almost morning.
Who was the one that told us we'd be there by lunch? Was it
Bill.
Bill?
Bill said that.
The trapper?
Yep.
Probably didn't anticipate a gunfight.
Well, he also didn't anticipate that you'd have horse because he said that after looking at Kingsley and thinking he was going to slow you down.
Yep.
Seemed-
But also, they probably definitely
the
heard
crazy
the
gunfight.
oh, yeah.
gunfight,
Yep. Yep.
Kingsley stops as he's like kind of flipping through the Bible after he says that. He's like about to hand it back, then he stops, he sees something, and he flips. It's, you said like dawn light coming
Yep.
up?
Yep.
Okay. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil, and Satan which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Revelations 12:9. Apparently a favorite passage. Or his last reading. He hands the Bible back to you.
I burn it. No, I'm kidding.
I touch Benton with the Bible and see if he bursts into flame. No, I'm just kidding. I do actually probably fairly subtly, but without really thinking about it, as he reads the Bible passage, his eyes flick to Benton and just kind of then off him just to see if he reacts to it, to the word of the Lord.
I kind of look at the Bible, have it in both my hands, and I set it down on the rock.
How did you know that, Mr. Kingsley?
My great powers of investigation from my time as a district attorney. The dog ear and underline were my first signs. He kind of like smiles somewhat forcedly.
Well, they were religious, but this is not uncommon here in America. Well, we must make use of this light, yeah?
Yeah, we should be going.
We shall be there soon.
And so you are.
Mm-hmm.
You make your way across the train tracks, and within an hour, you can see Black Valley. The first thing that becomes visible over the pine trees are two brick smokestacks from a large sort of factory building on the outskirts of town. They're not spewing smoke, and as you approach, you remember that it must be Sunday. They're not working. The train station itself is quiet. There's no one there. That's the first thing you get to when you approach Black Valley. You make your way onto the sort of main thoroughfare of the town, mainly brick buildings. There is this one enormous factory building, like, industrial. You're not sure what they make there, but it's right next to the rail yard.
Mm-hmm.
It probably is a place of employment for the majority of this town, just based on the size of this one building and the size of the town itself, which isn't huge.
They make bricks.
Yeah. There's a main road, as I said, that sort of leads into town. And as you make your way down the road, you hear the church bells ringing. And you see very few people on the streets. You realize that they're probably mostly in church or still at home. You make your way past a few shops, like a inn, where they would serve alcohol and stuff, which is currently closed. And near the center of town, you see a large stone church building. And you see a lot of people making their way in.
Have any of you ever visited the general before?
Yeah?
No.
You know where his home is then?
Yeah. It's probably in the outskirts of town.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Kingsley has for sure. Unless there was a specific reason,
And you-
backstory-wise, you wanted us not to.
No, it's fine.
Ryan lived there.
No, he lived in Baltimore.
All right. I stopped then where I left a stash of weapons and money.
Nice. Your
My last-
apartment. You stop at your apartment?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it is down this way, a little bit out of town. So he might be at church. Shrugs.
Should we not make a stop in the town and perhaps let the authorities know of the attempted assassins or bandits?
At least let them know about the tracks, yes?
Yeah.
Very good. Where's the sheriff's office?
Yeah, those of you who have been here know where it is.
Yeah.
It's near the center of town as well. Small 1-room sheriff's office with a little jail cell in the
jail
back.
cell,
Yeah, exactly. And there is a man standing outside of the sheriff's office, kind of watching people make their way into church. He's wearing like a
Us coming down.
black long jacket. It's cold out, so he's dressed pretty ruggedly. And he notices all of you
We look
making
like
your
a
way down the
fucking
road.
militia.
Yeah, and you're pretty heavily armed. And you see him. He moves his jacket back off of his pistol, and just waits there against the edge of the building for you guys to approach.
Kingsley kicks he's in his comfort zone here. This is an authority figure. He spurs a horse a little bit, and before he gets too close, he stops and kind of lowers himself down, balances himself, and says, pardon us for maybe being quite a sight for you, sir. My name is Kingsley Burke, and myself and my companions here, we are on the eastbound number 7 B&O train, and we have to let you know there's some severe damage to a bridge. I don't know, half a day from here. We were forced to stop and make our way over land, and on top of that, we were accosted by 2 would-be bandits or assassins.
He looks a little confused by the whole group of you. He's an older guy, like white mustache, like white hair, and he says, "I was wondering why that train never came in last night, Mr. Burke." You say,
Yes, sir. He puts his hand out.
Sheriff Williams.
Sheriff Williams. Yes. I think I've heard about you from Representative Lincoln, Paul Lincoln.
He glares at you when you say that.
We were
Paul Lincoln.
Yes, we were in the State House. We spent some time together. I understood that he helped you out with your re-election campaign.
Silas reaches down on the ground and picks up the name that he just dropped.
He says y'all friends of Mr. Marlowe.
Yeah.
Well, 2 of them, you said?
Yes, they were.
They have a sniper team. I kind of gesture to the 2 sniper rifles that are hanging off the horse. Seemed professional, perhaps veterans, yeah. They attacked us while we crossed the chasm, and we defended ourselves. They are half a day's ride right at the chasm where the bridge is out. Their bodies are there.
Has there been any trouble in town? Have you spoken to Mr. Marlowe recently?
I speak to him almost every day. Trouble? No. Can't say there has been any trouble. I'll speak to him about this though, and we'll send a team out there, bury those bodies, see what we can do about getting that train into the station.
Yes, Mr. O'Sullivan, he did mention if we were to pass word by telegraph back to Baltimore, if they could send some sort of repair service out. But a need to speak to Mr. Marlowe is quite pressing, so I didn't know if you would be able to assist us in passing that word as well.
Sure. Just give me a moment. I'll walk you up to his house. He goes inside, and you notice there's someone else in there, and he says something to them. Sends them off to the telegram office, probably. Then he grabs his hat and comes back out.
What do you think they'll believe happened? when they come across the body of Dawson?
Obviously, some kind of animal.
Obviously. Silas kind of trails off, thinking about it again.
He comes outside and says, let's head on up to Mr. Marlowe's home.
Yeah.
It's lucky that none of you were hurt. 2 men with rifles like that.
Thankfully, it was still dark out when they attacked. And,
Fuck, I didn't even think of that. Imagine if we waited till the morning.
yeah,
That would have sucked.
clear shot.
I was like, I didn't even anticipate you guys waiting till morning. That being a possibility. It was also funny when Ryan's like, you want to load it now? And you're like, no, it's going to shoot us while we're crossing the trail. No, that wouldn't happen.
Actually, as we ride it, I think Kingsley hops back up on the horse, and next to Les, he says, "Got him thinking again." He says, "Les, you've spent some time out in the wilds, I understand, yeah?
Not around these parts, but yeah.
Are you what kind of animal you reckon would be capable of doing that to a full grown man? A bear or?"
Ooh, boy. It'd have to be a pretty big predator, but bear maybe a cougar. But in the amount of time that he was there for, I don't know. It would have been real quick.
Yeah, something, a bear, that would make sense, I would say.
Sheriff comes out and starts walking down the street. You guys walk right past that church. And as you do, Dan, you notice a woman with a young boy talking to the priest while they make their way inside. And you recognize them from that photo.
Oh, boy.
Killed your daddy, but it's fine.
I didn't. We did not kill him.
Are you sure he wasn't the one we shot?
I'm going to say, I'm going to
It's
take
a
a little
50-50.
creative artistic license and say,
I think the
I'm pretty sure I
storyteller
said-
specifically said,
Pretty sure I said
it was Mr. Evisceration.
Mr. Evisceration.
yeah,
was it?
that's the one I wanted it to be.
Okay.
Yeah. That's not, we didn't do that.
Okay.
We're innocent.
Act of God.
That would have been a fucking perfect moment. Just go up to her and hand her the Bible.
Ma'am.
The sheriff actually tips his hat to them and keeps walking.
I don't think Kingsley saw the photo, so he doesn't say anything.
I kind of match the stride of the sheriff. Sheriff Williams.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Silas Keem. I'm a photographer and a reporter. I happened to notice the woman there with the small boy.
Yes.
They're familiar to you.
Sure.
And her husband?
David Dawson.
He lives here in town?
Yeah, he works in the coal mine. You know him?
Yeah. Intimate.
I can't say that I do.
Inside and out.
Gives you a weird look when you say that.
I kind of fall back a step.
Okay.
Did anyone else see the picture? I don't.
Noah probably did, yeah.
I'm looking. So who's with me? Who's around me?
Say Benton and Les are the closest. Noah, now that he's pointed it out, you don't have the picture on you
Yeah.
like he does, but you're like, wait a second. It's weird
like-
that he said that, so
Yeah.
it's kind of signaling. And you're like, is that maybe the people in the
Yeah.
picture? Yeah. But definitely, you all notice like that was a weird thing for him to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for an opportunity to probably share this with these guys outside of the sheriff.
Sure.
Purview.
The sheriff is kind of standing near you, Josh, near Kingsley. And he says, he's talking to you about Washington, asking you, you're from there. Like, what's it like?
Yes, it's it's a busy place. It's not an easy place to call home. I'd say it's except for the travel, it's nice to get a little bit out of the way after the last few months, I have to say.
Says I'd like to see it someday. I've seen pictures, some of the buildings there. Just amazing.
It is a sight to see.
Reminds me of the books from when I was a kid, the stories about Rome.
There's much I would say to call into effect. Stand in front of the Colosseum or the Parthenon of Greece, and you stand and look up at, well, I guess the Lincoln Memorial probably hasn't been built yet. But some of the other shit there is pretty good too.
Jake, I'm gonna
Jefferson. That one's dope.
Monticello. Yeah. I'm gonna pull Noah aside,
Okay.
and I kind of.
As soon as we get out of earshot, I go, was that them?
Does Marlowe know? Does he know that we sold weapons?
I don't think so.
Do
Unless
you think it is a coincidence that a coal miner from his town was sent to assassinate us?
But why would Burke and...
We don't know their history. We don't know what they've done.
I don't think you would know. Unless it got out from your end.
It did not get out from my end. That is for sure. You don't think he could have inspected the weapons? There's no way it could have been traced back to you or I?
I don't think so. But I cannot be 100% sure. We must be aware, yeah?
We must be prepared to defend ourselves.
Yeah. But if Marlowe is targeting us, then perhaps he's targeting all 5 of us. So...
Do you want to bring what we've done into the light?
9. But if they are all targets, yeah, then we are allies for now.
We will reveal this as a curiosity then.
You make your way through town and to the estate of James Marlowe. It's beautiful grounds around the house. It's December, so the grass is not green and lush, but there's a huge kind of lawn, and the house is sort of at the end of this drive, and it's massive. It's the second biggest building in the entire town, the first being that factory, but easily 20, 30 rooms, a house that's been here for a long time. You all know that James Marlowe comes from money. Most of you have been to his Baltimore home, but coming here, it kind of makes you realize like he lives a different life, and he's never known anything else because he's comes from money.
Yeah,
but it's he is the new class of millionaires, and you make your way right towards the front door. And there's a little girl playing in the yard. She's got one of those hoops with the stick. She's chasing it around. She looks like she's probably 5 years old. Red hair. Expensive looking dress.
Kids these days always with their face down and their hoop on the stick.
When I was a kid, we talked to each other.
She makes her way towards all of you. And the sheriff says, hey there, Cora. Why don't you go on inside and find your father? Tell him he's got company.
I presume I probably know Cora.
You've probably heard. I don't know if you've met her, maybe not, but you know that he had another child. He has 3 children.
How old is Cora?
5 years old. She like waves and then runs inside, drops the hoop and the stick in the driveway.
So, Sheriff Williams says, appreciate you bringing us out this way. Is James had many visitors recently? Or?
No, not for a few months.
Want to bother him, but we have been corresponding a bit.
He knows you're coming, though.
Yes, quite. I didn't know if perhaps we bump into any other mutual acquaintances, but you said no one else come around.
No other visitors. The door opens and someone who's definitely a staff comes out. It's this older looking man wearing like a butler's suit, and he makes his way towards you. He would be played by Michael Caine. He says, he looks at Kingsley and Noah first, and he says, "Gentlemen, welcome. We've been waiting for you."
Beauregard, it's good to see you.
His name is Octavius, and he says, "Les, I don't know if you remember me. You were just a boy. We met in the Baltimore, and you must be Silas
I tip my hat to him.
and Benton, I assume.
Bonjour, monsieur.
Well, please come in, gentlemen. Sheriff, is everything all right?" He says, just showing these gentlemen to the house. They ran into some trouble. Perhaps you could pass the information along to Marlowe yourself.
Of course.
Tell him I plan on sending some people this afternoon to take care of what happened out there.
Yes, very well. Thank you. All right. Octavius, please pardon our appearance.
Yes, we expected you last night. What was the holdup?
Well, someone decided to destroy the cavern bridge, stopped our train, decided to attack us on the road.
He looks genuinely concerned. He says, "Oh, please come inside. Leave your bags here. The footman will get them. Please excuse me. We didn't expect you arriving at this time, so we do have your rooms ready, but otherwise we would all be here to greet you properly, the staff of the house and the family."
There's no problem.
The family is in the back garden eating breakfast. Come with me. Marlowe is on his way.
Thank you.
You make your way into the main
Kingsley
foyer.
brushes the dirt of the road off himself as best as he can.
Make your way into the main sort of foyer of the home with this, staircase that leads into the south and north wings of the house, and the back door to, you presume, the gardens opens, and Marlowe comes into the room. He is Jeff Bridges with a large beard, large kind of white and blonde beard. He's in pretty good shape for a guy who's pushing 50. Takes care of himself. Has always been physically pretty impressive. He looks like he is dressed and ready for the day. It's pretty early in the morning, but he's got the full like dress pants and vest. And he kind of rushes towards all of you and just starts shaking your hands and saying, "Gentlemen, thank you. So glad you made it."
Good to see you, General.
What happened? Ran into some trouble, I heard.
Yeah. There was a bridge was destroyed. The train could not make it, and we were attacked on the road by snipers.
He puts up a hand to like stop you and says, "Let's talk in private."
Yeah.
My study, this way. Please just leave all your things there. Kingsley, how you doing?
I can't look at you.
Well, I don't think I'm quite cut out for the life that would probably be pretty normal day for you.
He looks
James,
at all of you and he says, "You walked here from the bridge."
Yeah. Well, we came across some horses and it helped along the way, but yeah.
Well, you'll have to tell me the whole story. You've all been introduced, though, Mr. Benton?
Oui, monsieur.
Just to lead right off, you and your family, you're all well.
We're all well.
Well, this is good.
Brings you into his study, which is, a room filled with taxidermied animals and leather sofas. And he goes over and starts pouring drinks.
Silas has been pretty quiet up to this point. I mean, obviously he shook the general's hand and everything,
Yeah.
but he's just been kind of studious of the surroundings and of the general.
Okay. He says, Octavius, can we get these men some breakfast?
Yes,
Kingsley collapses into like one of the overstuffed chairs with a drink in his hand.
Yeah, he comes over and he hands you a scotch
Aggressive.
Thank
for
you, James.
breakfast.
Yeah.
You all must be tired. Walking through the night.
Yeah.
We approached your letter with some urgency.
I do appreciate that. And you were ambushed at the bridge.
Yeah. They have a team of 2, most likely veteran snipers. They had the Whitfield rifles, one with a scope on it. It's no amateur team, yeah?
Yes, James believes that they were probably
Whitfield rifle with a scope on it?
Yeah.
The man was from your town, General.
Confederate holdouts.
He looks very concerned by all of this information.
I pull out the photograph from my breast pocket.
This man's no Confederate holdout.
Mr. David Dawson.
No Confederate holdout at all. This man served under Grant himself. This is David Dawson.
He was the man that held the weapon.
I've known this man my entire life. And furthermore, he takes a key ring out of his vest and he goes over to a locked cabinet and he unlocks it and opens it up. And you know what it is, John. It's a gun cabinet.
Yeah.
There's probably 24 guns inside. And he says, my gun's missing.
Your Whitfield.
Both of them.
Well, lucky you. We found them.
Oh, you guys are carrying them, aren't you?
They're on the horse.
He goes and pours himself a drink.
He says, Kingsley says, James, this whatever the trouble is that you're in, is it possible this Mr. Dawson was aware of it, but not aware? Was there some confusion? But perhaps he thought there was a threat.
I do not know.
The letters you sent to us, General. How
Yes.
did you send them?
Was he general?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
He says, I sent them by private carrier to each of your addresses.
Just the 5.
It is quite possible that this information got out. It was quite a bit of logistics to organize all this. I had to have a passenger car added to that train just to bring you all up here. We don't get a lot of visitors up here. The information getting out wouldn't have been hard. It's a small town. Things get around. I didn't see any need for secrecy. But
These people then wanted to prevent us from reaching you.
These people are my people. David Dawson has lived in this town his entire life. And the other man, I assume is a friend, perhaps his brother.
Well, there is a problem in your information then, General. Because clearly, they are not the ones or the men you thought them to be.
But why kill you?
Or, I mean,
And how do they get in here and take my guns?
it's possible that there was some confusion. I mean, Silas, the one photo partially faded.
The sheriff confirmed it.
And the weapons are missing.
Did you show the sheriff the photograph?
No, but I saw her as clear as I do this photo here.
He goes over and he locks the door to the study. And then he draws the curtains, lights a few lamps.
But perhaps you let us know what this danger is, yeah?
Gentlemen, the reason that I called you to my home is I am going to be murdered.
Kind of silence all around.
I'm going to be murdered, and it's going to happen within the next 2 weeks.
How do you know this?
Well, sit down, because it's a doozy. And I think Mr. Beauclair is the only one that's really going to believe me.
I think Kingsley before he even said that last line, looked over to Benton, kind of with this weird feeling. He hasn't said it outright, but Kingsley is very sort of thrown for a loop that Beauclair is part of this kind of inner circle. Like, these are people that, like, he interacts with and knows.
Go ahead and say it, Josh. What's different? Would you call him a black sheep?
Yeah, is it that, or is it the fucking voodoo magic?
Maybe.
So I think he, knowing that Benton obviously is much closer than he had any awareness that he was to Marlowe. He might not even known originally that he had a connection to him. Has this weird sinking suspicion in his stomach that it relates to the weirdness that he's involved with.
Because that's also your bond with him, right? I mean,
yes.
That he predicted. Yeah.
Yeah. Voodoo nonsense.
Marlowe says, I'm going to tell you all something that very, very few people know. Mr. Beauclair is slightly aware of it, as well as my wife. And with some of the older members of my community, there are rumors. There are rumors that my family line is cursed. My father died a week before his 50th birthday. My grandfather, 1 month before. My father was murdered. My grandfather, an accident. My great-grandfather, the day before his 50th birthday. I've looked back in my family tree, and as far as I can tell, it's been going on for generations. He looks at you, Matt, at Benton, and he says, the Marlowe line is cursed, and I've got about 2 weeks before my 50th.
It sounds like we have some work to do.
I mean, surely, James, I mean, I understand this is sense of mortality and all and getting older, but, I mean, the world is full of mysteries, and more than that, it's full of coincidences.
Mr. Burke, since I was 13 years old, I knew when I was going to die. My father sat me down and he told me that this is an unerring truth of our family. And I thought maybe he was just playing a joke until he died. And then I looked into it. As far as I can tell, it's true. Since I was 13 years old, I knew the day it would happen, or at least the week.
Setting our doubts aside, General, how far back does it go?
He shrugs. He says, I've done a bit of research myself. I've got a small library where I've compiled some family history. 6 generations from what I can tell.
And there is no mention among your family as to the origin of this?
He shakes his head. It's not something that's talked about much. We try to keep it a secret. It's not very helpful to have your family be known as cursed. Furthermore, what could this be besides something not of this world, Mr. Beauclair? There aren't people around that would be able to take vengeance on an entire family line stretching back hundreds of years. This must be something else.
I do agree.
Kingsley stands up, he walks over, limping a little bit extra. He probably is actually pretty beat up from the travels. He puts his hand on Marlowe's shoulder. He says, James, my friend, I think, I mean, what you're speaking of, I'm sure there is something to this. There is always something to, store a situation. Maybe it is a matter of vengeance. I mean, obviously, there is more in this community than you're aware of, if Mr. Keene is right, but strange things happen, and, it's easy to attribute another power to them, but, Do you know that John Wilkes Booth's brother saved Lincoln's son 1 year to the day before he was shot? Just random. The Secret Service that they've set up discovered this investigation. That's just a strange coincidence in life, but perhaps when one looks back and puts these things together, they can paint a different picture, especially to put it simply, to our mortal perspectives. I'm feeling 6th decade of my life approaching in 2 years as well, James, and we will be here with you and let us make sure that if there is a threat, I'm sure that is something that we can uncover before it seeks to wreck this strange pattern that your family has suffered.
If you are willing, Mr. Burke, to even entertain the idea of staying here to ensure his safety, then some part of you recognizes that there could be something more.
That there's a threat, for sure. I mean, one of the men of his acquaintances stolen rifles and attempted to kill his companions. I mean, clearly there is some sort of strange conspiracy afoot here. Of course there's a real threat, James, and it's the nature of the thing. I mean, a curse is... I mean, obviously that's not something that was really practically possible, but a curse put on by the actions of men, whatever this organization is, whether it's... Clearly there's a lot we don't understand, and I will be here with you through thick and thin to get to the bottom of it.
Well, curse or no, 6 generations, the probability of all of them dying at the age, or right at the age of 50 is near 0, yeah?
It's low, but again, there are other factors. Clearly, there are other forces at play here.
Clearly, yeah.
The Marlowe family is renowned and well-known, and unfortunately, those who have had success, the past is filled with jealousy.
I would like to hear from Mr. Beauclair. I turn and look at you, Matt.
I do understand where Monsieur Kingsley comes from. I'd like to remind you, though, what happened with you and me in the past.
My eyes widen a little.
You see Kingsley, he flushes a little bit quickly and kind of pulls himself kind of quickly under control.
I will say, Monsieur Marlowe, I asked these men at the fork at Papa Legba's place if they would pay a price for you. I ask, your curse, if it lift, what cost? You pay.
What is the price to pay?
That is not for me to decide. That is the Baron Samedi. It is his price that you will pay.
I don't know, Mr. Beauclair. As usual, you speak in riddles to me. But what I do know is that I know when I am bested. I know when something is beyond me. There have been great men in my family, great men who have done great things. My great-great-great-grandfather fought at Waterloo to die from this. I know that this is beyond my ability to control. I am not as great as him, and that's why I've asked all of you for your help. They say a wise man knows when he needs help. And Mr. Burke, I understand your apprehension, but surely in your life you have seen things that are mystery. Did I ever tell you about what happened to us in Tennessee?
I mean, I've heard some stories of the war, of course. I mean, horrors I could never imagine, James. I mean,
Not all of them are horrors. Isn't that correct, Mr. Beauclair? There are things out there that are unknown, and some of them are not bad.
That is correct.
Are you so sure that it is some voodoo curse, not some demon or devil that is performing this, yeah?
I don't know, but that is what I hope that all of you can help us with.
Kingsley looks shocked when you say that, like flabbergasted almost.
Well, there are evil forces, yeah, in our
Yes,
Mr. Burke, when we were in Tennessee,
you speak of revelations.
yeah. Satan has his forces on Earth, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, I forgot it was 1870.
By the way, Battle of Waterloo was like 50 years ago or 60
Pardon
years
me.
ago.
Yeah.
Waterloo.
Yeah, it was like 60.
Oh, I
years
thought
ago.
it was 17.
No,
No,
Napoleonic. Yeah,
Just fix that. That's great
fix it,
grandfather.
boss. Fix it,
He-
boss.
Great
I'm
grandfather.
trying to remember when he actually died on St. Helena. It's like, I think in the 1860s.
Waterloo
I thought
was
it was
1814.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So,
So
so
60
maybe 30s.
years ago.
So it was
This is probably his father or grandfather.
Grandfather. He's
He's 50, so
grandfather.
Yeah.
We'll fix that in post. Josh.
Fix it in
It'll
post.
Sound really good.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of the great. Sorry.
He says, "Devils exist, Mr. Burke, as do angels. I've seen them myself."
Do I know Marlowe to be particularly religious?
No.
Okay.
Sorry, Jake. I was just looking at Napoleon's death. Did Marlowe just say he believes in devils?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
And I don't know if that's what this is. We can pray to God that it is something more mundane.
Well, mundane or supernatural. I reckon you brought us here to end this curse.
He nods.
All right. I'm in.
You see Silas take a deep breath. If anything, General, my curiosity is piqued. I will do whatever I can to help you.
James, I'm well, as these fellows can all attest to, I'm certainly not going to protect you from any mortal danger. But if there's anything that I can help to uncover, understand here,
Mr. Burke, maybe he asked you here to make a deal with the devil.
yeah, I spent several last years doing that myself.
Well, this will delay my trip back to Europe, yeah. I have much to do, but this does sound like an interesting problem, yeah?
I apologize for the inconvenience. And I apologize for taking you all away from your families or businesses, especially around the holidays.
It was unexpected, but a good time to get away.
It is the 19th of December. My birthday is January 2nd. Let us hope I can have you home by the 3rd.
That is agreeable, yeah?
Have you considered, well, I don't know, destination, but what if we were all hop on a train and with your family, of course, in tow, and let us get accommodations in San Francisco. Let the new year pass, and once we're past that date, and we will be as secretive as we can about our destination, and
He says, I'm willing to entertain the idea.
You
My
can't
original-
hide from the curse. If his line is cursed, it follow.
If these deaths in your family, whether they be murders or accidental, it would seem it's not premeditated, but rather fated. I do not like to jump to that conclusion. Trust me.
Jim, there's nothing in terms of fate about two men with rifles looking down at a bridge. Okay, what we're dealing with here is some individuals, group of individuals whose motivations we currently do not understand, but whose goal, at least we are probably aware of, to bring an end to the life of General James Marlowe and perhaps any of those that would seek to help or assist him. That much is plain. Discuss fate or curses, Mr. Beauclair. No disrespect intended, but it will not help us solve anything if we cannot get past the superstitious language.
Kingsley has a point, and we have a tangible threat to deal with. This is at least a starting point. We need to find out who that second man was, find out who they've been talking to, why they went out there, what was their motivation. We also have to find out how they got my guns.
General, we'll also need to understand how Dawson died.
What do you mean?
We didn't kill him. Something else did.
Something?
Les, I mean, maybe not much more than me, maybe not more than most of you, but he's a lot of experience in the wild. We were discussing whether it was a bear or, I mean, the man was mauled quite horribly.
Mr. Beauclair has a different idea.
It was a bird.
May I trouble you for another scotch?
I mean,
I love asking leading questions.
due respect, Mr. Beauclair, that'd have to be a mighty big bird.
I do not disagree. You look. There are no tracks, no prints, no other blood.
I mean, he ain't wrong about that, but
He fell from great height, like a bird of prey.
Jake, I let that passage from Revelations 12:9 drift through my head. The dragon and his angels cast down.
I don't think a bear, any other beast of land would have had time to tear into him like that either. But bird would have had to be 12, 16, 20-foot wingspan.
The great rock of legend.
I mean, just to lift him up like that.
Well, the plot thickens. We've got snipers who served with us in the war trying to kill you folks. Some sort of giant bird killing them. Who knows? Let's have another scotch, get a couple hours of sleep, come at this with fresh eyes.
Yeah. Do you happen to have a schnapps?
Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of the Nastagram RPG podcast. A few quick thanks for our badass intro music, A Wilhelm Scream. They have an awesome new album, Lose Your Delusion. Go check it out. For our outro music, Adrian Von Ziegler. All scores are by Adrian Von Ziegler and Antti Martikainen. No Dean on this arc, but if you want to listen to him, check out the great shows over at Liberty Street Geek, The Lost Drive-In, Kirking Off for your Star Trek love, and Mind Killer for some Dune talk. Lastly, guys, this is our fourth arc, and we are loving it. We have a lot more planned. To do that, we need you. You hear it all the time, but it's true. Podcasts won't exist without listeners, and we need your support and involvement. Ratings, reviews do make a huge difference, and so does telling people about the show. People that like role-playing game, people that like storytelling, anybody think that might dig this. So spread the word, spread the love. We got a lot more coming. See you next week.
Hey, this is Jake, your storyteller.
Hey, this is Matt. I started at Josh last time.
Sorry, I thought we were starting with Dan and going.
No, I
No,
went started with Josh last time, didn't
Did
it?
it?
No,
I thought
no.
it did.
it was Dan, John, Ryan,
Yeah,
Josh,
you're right.
and then Matt. All right.